the civil engineering profession. Okay, so more focused. Okay, so let us begin. Okay, the areas which you see, which are mentioned by the hand, I don't know why the hand is there, but it is there. Okay, somebody has a hand in it, and it has like 5 areas. Okay, civil engineering is divided into 5 different disciplines. Okay, first of all, what is civil engineering? We, as the quote mentions, we hold the world in our hands. Okay, in what sense? Because we are, and I mentioned this earlier as well, we are the people who are involved in constructing and designing the infrastructure. Okay, constructing and designing the infrastructure. I told you earlier that everything which you see around you is part of the infrastructure. Okay, this building is part of the infrastructure. Okay, these chairs are part of it. We didn't design it that way. Okay, but when you were coming inside, you came from, like you took a couple of steps, the walking area, all this is part of infrastructure. Okay, and all this comes under the domain of civil engineering. Okay, so this is why the quote goes that civil engineers hold the world in their hands, because without the infrastructure, the operation of the world will not happen properly. Okay, so we are included in designing and building these things. Okay, and we also, when we are doing this, okay, while we are designing and building the infrastructure, this is necessary for moving on with our life, right? Without infrastructure, we cannot live in this modern world. But when we are doing this, we face certain problems. Okay, nowadays the problems are of the nature of environmental side. Okay, more on the environmental side. Okay, and obviously whatever we are building, it may affect generations to come. Okay, we have seen the old forts in Bahrain, right? The fort areas, there is one in Rifa and there is one with the National Museum and so on, right? Okay, so designing and building the fort is whose responsibility? It's part of the infrastructure, right? Okay, you can see those buildings are still having an impact on us, right? They still have a place. We go and visit them and so on. Okay, so we leave a legacy in the land. This is what we need to keep in mind. Okay, so they are, whatever we will design will have an impact on the environment right now, and not only now. It will remain there for generations to come. Okay, and you can see many examples around you. Okay, so yeah, something this is very dramatic. We don't believe in it. We can do it, but we believe in when we will do it. Okay, so as student, don't think if I graduate. Let's focus on when will I graduate. In the end, we will kick you out. No problem. You need to do it quickly. Okay. So there is no if here. There is when. Okay. These are the fields, and this is related to the activity. I'll go through it. Okay. So civil engineers design critical infrastructure. Critical means the one which has more impact. Okay. I already gave the example. So we will design the building, which is more critical, right? Okay. The chairs, you can sit on the floor as well. So we don't design the chairs. Clear? We focus on the major infrastructure. Okay. So, and this will include, for example, roads, bridges, water supply and treatment system, wastewater treatment and disposal system, buildings, railroads, airports, waste management system. Okay, so that is wastewater and this is waste. Different. This is solid waste. This one is solid waste. This one is wastewater. Okay, and that one is wastewater and that one is water. Okay, the water which we use, and this is wastewater is water after the use. Got it? There are differences in some of them. Okay, so this is the main parts of the infrastructure we deal with. Okay, this is what you guys will go through in your activity. I'm just okay. So it tells you if you are going in a particular area of civil engineering, what does it include, and how should you select it. Okay, if you have to select an area from civil engineering, what are the things you have to keep in mind, and why would you select one area over the other areas? Why would you select environmental and why not structure? Okay, which is something good even for you guys. In the end, you have to select your areas. These are some videos. Hopefully, I don't know if they will work or not. Okay, these are the career options for civil engineers. So we can work in a consulting firm, we can work in a private industry, and we can work in a government agency. So all options are open. The difference between consulting firm and the private industry meaning the people who are doing the job, and consulting is people who are designing, who are involved in the design. Okay, so the second option is people who are building, constructing, okay, or doing that sort of thing. And the first part is people who are designing or who are overlooking the design process. Okay, so designer is not only involved in designing, design is also involved in construction. When you start the construction, there is a designer who is inspecting everything, he's checking everything. Okay, so these are the different areas we can work on, okay, as civil engineers. Okay, if you are working in a consulting firm, then you are, most of the times, the consultant is acting on behalf of the client. Okay, the first person the client should go to is a consultant. Okay, because the consultant will give him the design. Can you start anything without the design? We cannot. Right? Okay, the design is the first phase. So the client most of the times will go to the consultant. The client goes to somebody else. That somebody else will also go to the consultant first, right? He cannot proceed. The client goes, okay, I have a friend who is a contractor. Okay, I don't know anybody else from civil engineering. Okay, so I will go to that guy, but that guy will tell me, okay, I can do the job for you, but first of all, go to this guy and get the design ready. Okay, so consultant becomes the representative of the client. Okay, in most of the cases. Okay, so he has to solve the problem. He is basically the person who will solve the problem for the client. And as I said, problem solving can be of two types. Something is going wrong and you are trying to solve it, or the client wants to achieve something. Both are considered as problems. Okay, so maybe the problem could be we have a lot of traffic jam, so we will build a new bridge. It's a problem. Traffic jam is a problem, right? Okay, or the problem could be I need a new house. That's it. Okay, there's still a problem. Okay, as I mentioned, he is involved with the project from the outset, meaning from the start. He is the first person who will initiate. Okay, he works closely with the client and he is acting on his behalf. And he will. This job is largely office based, so a lot of people love it. Okay, but it also involves visiting the site. And why would you visit the site as a consultant? I already mentioned. Why? To do what? He is not the one who is he is not from the contractor side. He is not constructing. So why would he go to the site? He can do the design in the office, right? He did the design in the office. Why will he go to the site? To check. Okay? He is the one who is taking. So he is the one who designed, right? And in many cases, something goes wrong with the design. Or the contractor finds out something on the site which is belonging to the design. The contractor said, okay, you were asking for this material, I don't have it. It will be too expensive. Okay, and so on and so forth. So the contractor, and then who is the person who can change the design? This person. Okay, so that's why. His involvement is very important, but his work is mainly in the office. Okay, that's why we love this. Okay. In government agencies, there are different departments which can hire you. Okay, and you can think about, this is general, right? You can think about which ministry it falls under in Bahrain. Okay, so for example, environmental agencies. We have an environmental organization in Bahrain. Anybody knows the name? From the government side? No one, right? How long have you been in Bahrain? Huh? You were born here, right? Why not these things? Who will hire you? Huh? Not now. Anyways, for Environmental Supreme Council. Okay? And I know it. You guys know. Okay. Highway. Who handles highway? Which ministry handles highway? Tell me. Ministry of Works. Another one. There are two. More than two. Two. Ministry of Works and Ministry of. There's another one. Very obvious. Huh? No. Housing, they are related to it. All ministries are related to transportation, obviously. But the one who handle it, Ministry of Works, mainly, and Ministry of Transportation. Okay, these two. Department of Defense, we have what? Defense under who? Huh? Some of you were born in VDF, right? Huh? You owe it to them. VDF is what? Bahrain dinar, right? Bahrain dinar for me, right? VDF is what? Huh? VDF stands for what? Huh? See? He knows. Who was born there? Yes, okay. Okay, so under Defense Force, and you have, but we have Ministry of Interior. Ministry of Interior and media, okay? But anything related to Army, and the Army can be Navy, Air Force, so on and so forth. Department of Agriculture, we have Ministry of Agriculture here, okay? For some reason they call it MUN. I forgot what is the full form. But your career is open in all these government departments as a civil engineer, because all of them deal with infrastructure. Okay. The defense, they have their own specialized infrastructure. Okay. The defense forces, they have their own specialized infrastructure which they have to use for defense, right? Building police stations and checkposts and so on and so forth. Okay, the border area and so on. Okay, and then they have their own labs and so on. Okay. Forget about the salary. Okay, but there are three different levels. Okay, entry level, when you will graduate. Okay, and you enter the market, you will be. Some of you may not get any pay, just to prepare yourselves. Okay. Somebody asks you, okay, come in and we will just train you for 6 months, 8 months, and so on and so forth. Take that. Okay, even this will not happen to all of you. Okay, so trainee, entry level, then you have the mid career where you are given the responsibility. Now you are out of the trainee level, you are given some responsibility now of your own work. Entry level is you are doing the work, but people are looking at you. Okay, how you are doing it. They are explaining to you. You make a mistake, they are there to correct you. Then and there. Okay, you are not free. Okay, mid-career, okay, I will do my own job now. You don't have to look at me every step, how I am doing it. Okay, so I am reliable enough to do my own job. Okay, and then we have the last one, which I called it, this is your career advancement basically. I mentioned it earlier as well. Okay, so most of the people, they get stuck in the mid-career. Obviously, nobody gets stuck in the training. But most of them get stuck in the mid-career. Okay, I can do my job, but I will not take anybody else's responsibility. I cannot look at 10 projects. Just give me one project, this is my job. That's it, okay? So the career advancement is, as you can see, the top 10%. The top 10%, so from everybody, only 10% will go to the last stage. Okay? The last stage is, now you are the boss over others. You are not only responsible for your job, you are responsible for others as well. Okay? Okay. Why civil engineering is important? Civil engineers play a big role in the quality of health and quality of life. Okay? For example, we all live in buildings, right? All of us live in buildings. Okay? So, all those buildings, for all those years you have been living in, are safe. They will not collapse because of it, right? Okay. So your safety of your residence is depending upon the design which is done by a civil engineer. depending upon the building which is constructed by a civil engineer. Okay. They also play a big role in your quality of life. Okay, because they are the people who are designing the water treatment system. They are the people who are managing the waste water and solid waste. Okay, so they are playing a big part in your quality of life. Okay. The third one is they also make sure that you can do your work safely, properly, efficiently. Okay, because for going to your job, for studies, you need to travel, right? Okay, so the people who are designing this whole transportation system are civil engineers. Okay, transportation is part of civil engineering, and people who design it, people who construct it are civil engineers. So these are the people who are providing you a safe system so that you can continue your economic and social activities. Okay, and obviously doing all that, they have to keep the environment in mind as well. Okay, whatever you are doing with transportation system, water system, buildings, and other types of construction, you have to make sure that the environmental impact is minimized. And environment is for everybody, right? Environment is for everybody. So if you will see now later on in your life that there are some standards which you follow in Bahrain which are not developed in Bahrain. They are coming from somewhere else. Okay, and there are countries on which they ban certain things, that this thing cannot come from this country. Why are you banning? Somebody else is banning our products. Okay, because they are environmentally harmful. Okay, so I cannot say, okay, let me do it. I will destroy my own environment. Can it happen? That I do everything in my area and it will only affect me, or it will only remain here. Can it happen? It doesn't happen this way. Okay, it doesn't happen this way. Okay, an interesting fact, most of the environmental degradation we have, current environmental degradation we have, the noise level, the pollution level, okay, the holes in the ozone layer and water contamination, and all these things, which are, they still now, the major part of it came from the developed countries. Okay, the major cause of it was the developed countries. The other countries were way behind them. So when people in US had their own cars, everybody had their own cars. There were countries in which 90% of the people were still walking and using bicycles. Okay, so most of the effects, environmental effects, which we are facing in our lives right now, okay, with water and air and noise and everything, the main cause of it, or the main reason, the initial damage came from those countries. So we did not even do anything. Okay, we were sucking polluted air, but we were not the reason for the pollution. Okay, our water bodies were getting contaminated, the groundwater was getting contaminated, and we did not do anything for it. Okay, so the point was, any country cannot say, let me do whatever I want. It does not affect you in terms of environment. Environment affects everybody. Okay, environmental effects cannot be contained in one area. Okay, you are releasing any pollutants in the air, that's it. They are gone. They will travel in the air from one place to the other. You cannot control it. Okay, so that's why we have to think about this, and you will find there are many standards and regulations and rules which are applied from the environmental side. Some of them are local, some of them are international. Okay, and this is the reason. Okay, so infrastructure, we already mentioned, we provide infrastructure. Infrastructure is important for our economy as well as our lives. Without infrastructure, you cannot earn, and without infrastructure, you cannot perform the functions of your life as well. For example, I already gave you the idea about transportation, buildings. Okay, you need all these things, right? Without them, you are not safe, and the water, clean water and clean air, these are all very important for us, and these civil engineer is playing a major role in doing all these things. Okay, cleaning your environment, keeping it clean, providing you spaces where you can live, providing you a system in which you can work, and so on. So that's why civil engineering is very important. Okay. What will happen if you become a civil engineer? Okay. If you become a civil engineer, obviously, if, okay, you will get job security. By the way, once you get the job, you will get a job eventually. But once you get it, then most of the time you are secure unless you do something crazy on your part. Okay, I know some people like this, but once you get the job, it's normally you continue. Okay, with more experience, you become more valuable. Okay, so the only problem is in the starting. Okay, you get the satisfaction of you are doing something important. That's why I gave you the whole lecture, right? Just feel important. Okay. Yeah, you are contributing a great amount of benefit to the society. Okay, with the environment and the infrastructure and everything. Okay. Yeah, you may work on projects that involve some level of creativity as well. Okay, they have given the example of this bridge. If you like pyramid, right? Pyramids. Everybody knows about the pyramids in Misr, right? Okay, in Egypt. Okay, so it takes a little bit of creativity to do something like this, right? Okay, you may have seen some bridges which look very beautiful, right? Burj Al Khalifa, for example, or the Neon City, and so on. Okay, these projects take a high level of creativity to think about them. And you don't have it. You don't have it in front of you. Okay, so you think about it yourself. Okay, so there are many projects in which you can use your creativity. Okay, these are some of the things which the civil engineers have designed. Okay, Golden Gate Bridge is a very famous bridge, San Francisco in US. Okay, right. Okay, Hoover Dam is in Europe somewhere, I believe in Netherlands. Okay, but it's a very big dam. Okay, and very old and very big. Okay, and then we have multiple skyscrapers around the world. Now it's a trend now, especially in GCC. It's a trend that we have to build high buildings, right? Okay, but now we have projects like Neon where people are doing horizontally as well. So this is just to give you an idea. Okay, so going back to the activity now, I believe this is okay. This one is the last. Okay, so there are different fields which are mentioned here. Okay, as I said, you will go through these fields yourself, but I will just give you an idea. Okay, so these buildings are part of the structural engineering field. The buildings which you see in this picture are part of the structural engineering field. The signal and the streets and sidewalks, they are part of the transportation engineering field. Okay, then you see at the end of the pavement, you cannot see it properly, but there is an outlet for storm water, for rainwater. Okay, so this is part of water resources engineering. Okay, and we have here solid waste disposal. Okay, where you collect the solid waste and you dispose it off. This is part of environmental engineering. Okay, and in all of them you will this is what we call as retaining wall. Okay, so retaining walls are underground walls which have steel in it and they are underground. So there is only a small part of it which is over the ground. Okay, so retaining wall is part of this field, geotechnical and materials engineering. Okay, so you can see in one picture, a random, it looks like a random picture, right? You can go to any particular intersection, you will find, you can take a picture, you will see the same things, right? Okay, so in one picture you see all fields of civil engineering coming into play. Okay, so this is the thing here. Okay, civil engineering jobs are not work oriented or time oriented, they are project oriented. Okay, so I have seen civil engineers who constantly work on the site for 36 hours or 48 hours or something like this, because there is big amount of concreting going on, they cannot leave it in the middle. It's not possible. If they stop it, then they have to do something else before they start the new job, and that something else may cost them a lot of money. Okay, so it's a project-oriented job and it will destroy your life. So congratulations. Okay, most work related to design and solving problems happens in the office, but obviously then you have to come to the site and make it happen. Okay, you have to work with people who are from different fields. For example, other engineers, mechanical, electrical, you already covered them. Geologists who will deal with the earth and aggregates and so on. Regulatory experts, people who are from the government and they come and inspect and check your site and your work. Okay. Chemists, if there is any chemical process going on. Biologists, if you are dealing with landscape and planting and agriculture and so on and so forth. So all these people are involved. Okay. Basically, we are dealing with the design. Okay. But when we do the design, then we have to make sure that design, the building is, or the actual product is according to the design. Okay. So that's why we are involved in the construction as well. But we have to decide about the size, the strength, and the type of material. These are the three main elements of design: the size, the strength, and the type of material. Okay. 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 So I mentioned here these are the different. How many are there? Five, right? 5 different areas of civil engineering. Okay. I want you to make 5 groups. Make 5 groups. Choice is yours. No problem. But I need 5 groups. If I see less groups, I will take one of them. Yes, hurry up. Two groups. Boys have given their sacrifices. 2 groups from them. I need 3 from them. 2 groups, yeah, 3 from here. Total 5, right? I need 3 groups from here. 3 rows, 3 groups, like this. 3 rows, 3 groups. Happy? Or you have a fight with someone. Go with someone. You don't like anyone, right? She is doing us a favor, doing you a good. Okay, ready? Ready? Okay. Each group has to pick one of the areas. Go on. Structure. Transportation. Structure, transportation. Yes. Environmental. Structure, transportation, environmental. Water resources. Water resources. Which one is left? Geotech. This is how it happens. Structure goes first. I don't know why it goes to transportation. But mad. Okay. So what was it? Structures, transportation, water, environment, and geotech. Okay. Now the slides are there. These are the same slides on Teams, also on Blackboard. Okay. So you go to these slides. Okay. Some explanation.